Bill Harvey, co-founder, Chief Research Officer, Vice Chairman of TRA Inc. And I'm responsible for the quality of the product that we put out, TRA, which is True Return on Investment Accountability for Media. So what we do is we measure the real sales effect of advertising. And we're focused right now on television advertising. And within television, we're focused on all packaged goods, and we're now introducing pharmaceuticals, and then we'll be adding other purchase categories. The method that we've invented, and we just received the US patent for this on June 1st, is kind of a radical step away from all traditional marketing research. Instead of paying people or incentivizing them to answer questions or do home barcode scanning or press buttons on people meters or to carry around passive people meters, we don't ask people to do anything. Rather than adding to the burden of people, what we do is we leverage already existing databases. We go buy data from, for example, supermarket chains. So 86% of all of the purchases made in supermarkets in the US are tracked on frequent shopper cards that people use in order to get discounts. And they're tracked at the household level. So we buy that data. Right now we're buying it for 55 million households. Obviously an enormous database. And part of our patent is how we do this without knowing the identity. We don't know we never get any names or addresses. It's a scientific sample, but it's anonymous. We also get 1.5 million households of set-top box data from cable companies and from TiVo. And we combine these at the specific household level without us knowing the names and addresses. So we have a partner who gets the names and addresses but doesn't get the data. So they don't know what was watched on the television. They don't know what was purchased. They just know, here are these two databases, and let's line up the names and addresses and create an encrypted key which we'll give to TRA so that TRA can line up any number of databases. So what we do is, the invention is database integration for the purposes of marketing research, marketing and media research. So obviously if we have, when we put those databases together, we've got 370,000 homes right at the moment and growing, where we know what they bought in supermarkets and what TV commercials they were exposed to. So we can look at the relationship between those TV stimuli hitting this household and then the changes in purchase behavior for the brands that were advertised in those commercials. It's something that's never been done before, and we've been doing it for a couple of years now. Yeah, exactly. The famous John Wanamaker quote, half of my advertising is wasted, I just don't know which half. And it's true. And so advertising and marketing in the United States alone is $1 trillion a year. It's an investment, and it's, for the most part, an investment based on faith, guesswork, intuition, sometimes right, often wrong. 50% being right is probably actually generous. It may be 20 to 40%, something like that. But at any rate, there's billions and billions of dollars being wasted, and that waste gets recycled as higher prices to consumers. That doesn't need to be that way if more accurate, really scientific marketing can be done. And if it could be done in a way that protects the consumer's privacy, the way we're doing it, you take away the need for doing it by other means that involve either crossing the line and messing with the consumer's privacy, or just bad research. And it's not that there isn't good research. Most of the research, particularly anyone who goes to an ARF conference, we're used to seeing the highest quality research on the planet. But it's restricted by the old ways of doing things, to the extent that if you tried to do what we do by some other means prior to our invention, people did try to do that. The entire category of what we do is known, has a name. It's single source. A guy named Colin MacDonald invented that name a long time ago. So that's the idea of collecting purchase data and media data on the same households. But if you try to do it by the old-fashioned means, you have to pay people. You have to put equipment in their home so they can home barcode scan. You get a very restricted group of people who aren't really representative of anyone who has a life, because for people to sit and home barcode scan everything they buy for years and years and years, there's got to be something wrong with those people. No one we know would do that, is something that people always say to me. But that was the way it was done before. The best research is that the research where the Heisenberg effect does not obtain, where you don't disturb the thing that you're observing, so you're getting a pure measurement of what you're trying to measure, because they don't have to do anything. The consumers, we like to call them people, actually, don't have to do anything. In terms of case studies, we presented here at the ARF yesterday with one of our clients, MediaVest. MediaVest did 3 case studies, one for each of their, 3 of their largest clients, one brand for each of their 3 very large clients. And what they found was that they were able to make improvements in their media buy. They focused on one way of using our data, because there are so many ways of using it. Then you have to start somewhere. You can look at which creative executions to run, and which ones to run more, and which ones to pull off the air. But they focused on targeting. They focused on how much improvement can they make by picking different TV programs to advertise on, so as to reach more of the people who are actually responding with their wallets to the commercials that their clients are actually running. So they saw cases where they could make a 33% improvement in return on investment. And they made a very conservative estimate that overall, just by picking shows better using our data, conservatively they're projecting at least a 10% increase in return on investment. And as a result, 3 of their clients are now directly subscribing to TRA. Not only MediaVest is a subscriber, but now 3 of their largest clients. So we have a total of 33 very large TV spending brands already who are using this system to make their buys better, and soon to also be using the other ways of using our data to make their creative better as well. So far, that 10% improvement does not change the creative at all. The creative, the same commercials, just picking shows better. And when you combine that with the other ways of using single source data, we don't know how much we'll be able to improve ROI. We do know that Mars, the makers of Snickers and M&Ms and so on, here at the ARF last year reported with us that in Europe, where they're using systems similar to TRA, but using more conventional, old-fashioned methods, smaller, much smaller samples, Mars has increased their actual return on TV ad investment in England, France, and Germany over the last 3 years from what had been 70 cents to now what is $2 return per dollar invested, which, when you're spending tens of millions of dollars, it's a considerable amount of money. So we started in television because when you look at the total spend of the top advertisers, the 100 top advertisers, it's heavily television, more than anything else. And it's not, the other media aren't even close. You have $70 billion in television advertising in the US, and arguably, if you leave out search, about $10 billion in internet display advertising. And magazines is like $5 billion or some number like that, and radio is less, almost $5 billion. And internet, although it's not as accountable and targetable as it's made out to be, it's still, compared to television, more targetable and more accountable, at least prior to TRA. So we said, where can we do the most good the quickest? And it was television. The biggest buck is being spent, and the surveys, the ANA surveys, show that TV is regarded as the least accountable medium, and it's the one with the most money. So we had to start somewhere, and that's where we started. But I mean, the same cable companies that we're getting data from also are the ISPs for 35 million US homes. And 9 out of 10 homes where we're getting TV data now are homes where we can be, with the flick of a switch, getting internet data. And we're getting closer to that every day. We're getting some actual internet data at the moment. And actually, we probably have the largest sample at the moment, or one of the largest samples of TV internet data on the same homes in the country, in the world. But it's not a significant enough effort to announce, or we're not there yet. We are starting to report data on another medium, not usually thought of as a medium, in-store display. We already get price data, which is a very important factor in the marketing mix. Explains a lot of changes in sales purchase behavior. And that, with television, usually accounts for 97 to 98% of all purchase behavior changes, according to marketing mix modeling. But the in-store data is potentially another very, very important source. So we just today presented here at the ARF for a diet soft drink cola brand that we can't identify the brand. We found that a price cut with television advertising can significantly increase the sales effect, something like 65% in the case that we found. But a price cut means that it's much harder to get a return on investment. You can get a sales increase, but you need to get an enormous sales increase to begin to make up for how much you've given back to the consumer by the price decrease. So more excitingly, we found a synergy effect between in-store display and television, where 3 or more exposures to television plus in-store display with no price cut got a 96% sales increase for this diet soft drink brand. And that starts to get very interesting. I'm most excited by a lot of different research that's focused on social media. I think that's brilliant. Did some work in social media in the very, very early stages, and people like Ed Keller and a lot of other folks are doing some very exciting stuff. If I may also rave about biometrics and the work that's being done there, I was pleased to be the chair of the panel that was here at the ARF on biometrics. So Dave Poltrak was the moderator, did a wonderful job. All the panelists did too. And rave about the work that Starcom is doing with media context. Kathy Klein's keynote address, got to rave about that. Excellent stuff. Rant, I don't know what to rant about. I failed to find a rant in my, I can't rant.